and welcome to the Power for Good podcast. Today we have Joy Dushey joining us. Hi, Joy. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Doing good. Welcome to the show.
It's such an honor to be with you. I was really looking forward to this for a long time. So thank you.
I'm so happy that we are finally here having this conversation. Joy is the breath master, the queen. She taught me so much of what I know about breath work. So I'm so happy that we get to be here in this space and to chat and connect and share. So let's start with the question that I ask everyone at the beginning of this show, which is how are you using your power for good?
Wow. First of all, I love the name of the show. I think it's wonderful. And I really believe that we all do have our power that is so unique and different from each and every, we're all so different in what we bring to the world. And so I just love that. I love that you're giving people a chance to realize that. I'd say that for me, it's really about sharing my truth. It's really about being the embodiment of love and joy and really being that, like doing my work every day, my spiritual work first before anything to really tap into that energy so that I can be a way shower of what I care so much about. And I'd say before anything, it's not about the doing. It's not about what, actually like serve with. It's about the embodiment before anything that I care so much about. And I feel is what I'm realizing is truly my purpose. And so it begins with that. And then from there, it's about facilitating these sessions where we alchemize lower density energies, lower programs, anything that is inhibiting us from accessing true love and unconditional love and peace and freedom in one's life, and really alchemizing that energy into all the beautiful qualities of, like I said, unconditional love, joy, and the beauty that we are so deserving of living with. And so it's the sessions, it's bringing people together. Tomorrow night I have an event here, which I call the Sangha. It's the bringing community together to commune, to activate really high frequency energy, breath work, sound healing. We do some clearing, and it's just powerful and beautiful. So I have the events, I have the one-on-ones, and just the platform and sharing and a lot of other creative things that are happening as well.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So is this the joyful approach integrative life system? Can you tell me more about the life system, the joyful approach?
Yeah, I'd say that methodology that I created years ago was actually came to me through a divine calling with an awakening as well when I was creating the joyful approach. And I realized that we needed some kind of structure, we needed some kind of organization to actually have these pillars that would bring us into alignment, right? So when I started to break them down, I realized there are two tiers to this life system. The first is how we live day to day. And the second has to do with our emotions, how we navigate life through our relationship with ourselves first, and then the relationship with others. So the first tier has to do with how we live daily through breathing, sleeping, eating, moving our bodies, hydrating, and thinking, our mindset, having to do with like our life purpose and why we're here. And then the second tier has to do with healthy boundaries, living intentionally, self-love, authenticity, our core values, our daily practice. And they're all really, really important. And when we start to look at them, I use these beautiful harmony wheels where we start to fill in what areas need course correcting, which areas are a little out of balance. And then we start to work with those areas and we bring awareness to an intentionality to these areas, and then we start to course correct, and we start to see that our lives are coming back into alignment. We're starting to get away from the things that are not serving us through this life system, and then we're just feeling so much better about ourselves. And it's really the fundamentals, the foundation of this optimal life system that's really helping us to evolve.
And what inspired the joyful approach? What was this awakening that brought about the joyful approach?
The magic question. It's like, I think I get away from this question. It's like, I knew it was coming. It's usually the first question in an interview. But yeah, so many years ago, I suffered an ischemic stroke. And that was really the catalyst of this huge awakening in my life. It's where like literally everything in my life like just came crumbling down, and I was reborn again through this experience. So up until the stroke, I had a beautiful life where I had these two gorgeous, beautiful miracles, my daughters, and happily married and so on. But I was also suffering with emotional pain. I lost my brother very tragically 9 years before that. I also wasn't experiencing, I was experiencing just like adverse emotions to what I was needing as a child, like emotional love. That my parents were very busy, I'd say, with real issues in our home, my childhood, that were difficult. And so, I think that that later on in my life, I started to feel like there was this void where, from the loss of my brother, who was like a soulmate to me. He was only 11 months older, and that tragedy really, really caused like a lot of trauma in my body and a lot of PTSD for me. So I had all this like unconscious material that wasn't, being treated, I'd say. And I was up until then like just numbing and I'd say living my life with external fulfillment, with, things just to like kind of numb that kind of pain. And then when I had the stroke, it was just like my body broke. Like it was like just that forced like stop to all of it. And I had to take a year to recover from the stroke. And it was truly like a very, very dark time in my life where I couldn't run from that pain anymore, from the emotional pain. I couldn't fill with external things. I couldn't exercise. I couldn't shop or, do the things that I used to do to fill myself with. And so I sat in the darkness, and it really, through depression, through deep, dark sadness, I started to question what I was doing with my life up until then. And I realized that I was lacking meaning. Like I was just living my life with like filling myself on the outside, but not doing what really, really meant more to me on the internal. And even though I was like really dark, like sad and feeling that pain, I just trusted that there was something. Like I knew that there was something on the other side of it, even if it was just like a very, very small spark of hope. That's what I like connected to and held on to. And I realized that that was my connection to the divine, to source. And there were angels out there that were like just whispering to me like something about trusting that there was something, and just to keep hanging on and and I remember like this too shall pass would come to me all the time, this too shall pass. And then I started to awaken to these new possibilities through holistic health. Holistic health was like something that I felt very attracted to heal my body. And I remember just meeting like these trainers at the gym that were very, very immersed in Paul Chek's work, who was then became a teacher of mine and a mentor. And I got trained and certified through the Chek system. But they are like the true fundamental, they're so rooted in holistic and spiritual health as well. And so I was very drawn to that. And that's where I started to learn about healing my body and really getting to the root of what was going on through the metaphysical. Like that everything that I had experienced was just a manifestation of emotional pain. That it really, yes, I did have illness, but that illness was definitely rooted from my emotional pain that I was suffering with for a really long time. So I just got certified with holistic health. I started running, and running became like just like a place that felt like home, true home for me, because it was like where I could connect with my spirit. And then I went off to like really, really take up running as like just such a means of healing for myself, for my body, to feel free, to feel like this celebration of life. I ran my first marathon as like the celebration, the reclamation of my body a year later. And then it was just this continuous, beautiful journey of like learning through teachers and shamans and all the esoteric, but it was a long journey of, falling back and stepping up again. And like, oh wait, like we definitely, on a journey, we like have to make the mistakes in order to learn and grow. And so I went through a fair share of that throughout this journey, trying to balance my life as well with being a mom. And then, today I'm a grandmother, but like, it was like all the the things that come with also like living in the physical realms and also in the spiritual realms, and like how we like ascend, but we also live in the physical earth. And so like, it's the same thing for me. It's like the dance of life. Yeah. I know I went off such a tangent, but it really...
No, so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So powerful. I am truly, truly inspired in how you've taken your challenges and your pain and turned it into your passion and your purpose.
Thank you. I smile because I definitely went through a fair share of pain in my life. And yet I'm smiling today because it's not that I feel like, oh, I made it. And I'm like, it's because I really believe that we can alchemize anything in our lives, and we can really, really, be the change that we want to see. If we can just trust and also really cooperate, like, work with the universe to ask for what we wish for, and, co-conspire with the universe to...
Yeah. So many wisdom, little nuggets of wisdom in your story and everything you just shared. And I do believe like our bodies, they're constantly speaking to us, and they hold so much knowledge and wisdom, and they hold pain for us, so much, until they just can't anymore. And they just send us those signs, and eventually gets to a breaking point. And like you, I've experienced great pain, physically, and my health as well. And I think part of this journey that is our lives, can be learning to really listen to our bodies. And if we listen to our bodies and we learn to listen to our bodies, life becomes much more, I wouldn't say easy, but we get into much more of a flow. And, we can flow with the universe. We can flow with the life. And I don't know, I think I'm losing what I'm trying to say here, but
No, I get it.
when you listen to your body, when you're working with the body rather than against it, when the mind and the body are working together, it can be so, so powerful and so beautiful and so joyous. That brings us back to the joyful approach.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I also want to add, I think it's about loving your body, even through pain, even through illness, even through like whatever you're going through. It's like surrendering. You're saying like, don't resist it. It's like surrendering inward and ask like, what are you trying to teach me here? What is it my body actually needing? And you can love your body. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's like, love your body and it will love you back. And it's what I've learned through many experiences of pain or illness, or, just getting sick at times or something. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Asking
I had a stomach virus recently, and it was so interesting because I realized that there was so much pain in my belly, and that there was this unprocessed anger that I was like bypassing. I was like, no, I'm glad I'm good. I don't have anger anymore. I don't have anger. And it was like, oh no, there's some stuff in there. And
It's here.
right when I started to do my healing work with my belly and like that unprocessed anger, it was so interesting how that pain dissolved very quickly. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that we suppress so many of our emotions. We don't want to feel them because we're labeling them as bad or negative. When in reality, we just feel into it and it will go away.
Totally.
Ah. So I want to talk a little bit about alchemy. This word alchemy keeps coming up. Can you share more details of what is the alchemy that you provide?
Yeah. I love this word, and I really want to be very careful because there's so many words that are like trending now and like get thrown out there. And like alchemy was like a really powerful word for me that I started to coin with my work, because alchemy for me, I love the book The Alchemist. It's really about taking something ordinary and turning it into like an ordinary metal, was how it was first derived, and then it turning into this beautiful gold. And so it's exactly like my story. It's like somebody could be really, really suffering with any kind of emotional pain, any kind of chronic like pain, any illnesses, anxiety, stress, disorder, anything that they come to a session with. And I tell them, bring it all, bring it all. Let's just like really, really go, and put it all out there. And through this work, right? Through the breathing, the breath work that we do, like the alchemical breath work, the transformative breath work that we do, and through the energy healing, and I work with the mystic, healing. I always give credit to the divine guidance that's in a session and entering the metaphysical space of unconditional love and passion. I would never, ever start a session without it. And then the sound healing frequencies and so on, and all of the modalities that I intuitively bring into a session. It's just remarkable how people can feel after. Me, myself, I can heal my own self through a session. If I'm ever feeling those low densities or lower programs coming in, and like there are these parts of us. We all have parts, right? We have like the different versions of our wounded child that still need tending to at times, right? And they can come to us in the most random moments of life that we start to act out in our life, or we start feeling something. And if we don't stop to notice, where is this actually coming from, and realize that that's one of our parts that's coming online. And if we can just give that part of ourselves that needs tending to some attention, right? And then some healing, that's how we really fully heal. That's how we really come into integrated whole healing. So that to me is how I describe the alchemy session. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's so beautiful when you think of yourself as having different parts, and it helps really break everything down. And we are so complex, really. We have so many different parts of ourselves. I once had a mentor tell me that to sit basically to imagine myself sitting at a table with all the different parts of me and giving each one a chance to talk. And we're basically all having like a big dinner together. And I loved that. And I imagined, like 13-year-old Christina and 5-year-old Christina and angry Christina and jealous Christina, and then like really people pleaser Christina. And there's so many Christinas out there, and all of them all needing attention at some point or another. So it's really beautiful if you can start to understand yourself as a little bit more complex than just one way. I'm just angry right now. It's like, maybe it's a little part of me. Maybe it's a 5-year-old part of me right now that is wanting attention. She wants to have a little temper tantrum. I love thinking in that way as well.
Many of us live life disconnected from our bodies, feeling out of control and reactive. We lose control of our emotions, scream at our children, the dog, our partners, and this affects our lives negatively. It hurts our relationships and ultimately it hurts us. Breathwork has been one of the most powerful rituals that I've developed in building a better relationship with myself, my body, and my emotions. Through breathwork, I'm able to move from a reactive state to a proactive state, and this has positively changed my life, my relationships, my health, my career, and ultimately led me on a healing journey. So that's why I'm so excited to announce the launch of my new platform, Ray Rituals, a membership community that offers on-demand breathwork practices that you can integrate into your everyday life to energize, balance, and relax your mind and body while supporting you in healing. Through Ray Rituals, you can build a breathwork practice where you instinctually start to come back to your body and are able to process your emotions and release them. It's an unlearning of what the world has taught you, to push your feelings down, to distract yourself and keep going, but instead, to pause, to breathe, feel, and move. It's simple, it's quick, and it's effective. Join me and sign up for Ray Rituals. It's time to take your power back, one breath at a time, at rayrituals.com.
I want to go back to the breath work. So the alchemical breath work. How did you first start doing the breath work journeys, the alchemical breath work journeys?
Yeah. Well, the way that I found breathwork was so random and so auspicious and so meaningful. It was part of the second awakening that I had. And I was in California and I just happened to find this on the corner of like this course that I was taking. There was a mention about this breathwork facilitator and I was going to be in California and I was like, oh, maybe I should try that. I have no idea what this is, but I'm going to go and try it. So I literally had the most transformative healing session that I ever, out of all of the healings that I ever had in that one session with Michelle Diavella. Shout out to Michelle. She's an incredible facilitator too. And it was extremely spiritual. I reunited with my brother and in that session, and I had I think I was just crying and sobbing for I don't know, 3 hours after that session because it was just so healing for me. And the way that we came back together and that felt so real. I'm so convinced that it was not just a dream or anything else. It was really felt so real. So I realized that after all the healings that I did throughout and all the therapy talk, out of everything that I've done throughout my life, there was nothing like the breath work. And I continued to see Michelle for 7 months, I'd say, on a weekly basis because I needed to keep this magic going. But I never had as powerful a session as I did the first time. Each session was always different and was always what my soul was calling for. So I then realized I need to start bringing this into my practice. And so I trained with, my first session was with Erin Telford. And after that, I would fly out to California and meet David, my teacher, and all his trainings, David Elliott with 2 T's, and just such a beautiful community of people. And did a whole bunch of those also in Joshua Tree. And it was so lovely. And then I just found that this really was such a powerful modality and people wanted to learn it from me. And I just felt that I needed to, there's nothing that I love more than I mentor women. Also, I mentored 9 women during COVID with the Matrix mentorship and where they're all sharing their gifts. And I was helping them to create and unleash these gifts. And, almost, it wasn't so much a business mentorship, but it was more of a spiritual / solopreneur type of mentorship. And then people that wanted to learn the breath work from me, I didn't want it to be like I was, training them with just David's methodology of breath work. It was more of like my style of a healing alchemy session. So in that session, there's not only breath work, it's like really being present with bringing in the mystical guidance and so on. And there's other alchemy that goes into those sessions.
Sure. So why do you think that what is the breath work journeys allow you such a deep healing? Why is it so powerful?
I think there's something auspicious about it that we can't really put our fingers on, because there's a lot of spiritual like guidance that comes through these sessions that I think there's the science behind it. But there's also the mystical, spiritual, dimensions that we can access. And what happens is that we bypass our conscious mind. We're getting away from like our realities that we're so, locked into day to day. However, when we're able to get out of that rigid, controlling mind, we can actually access so much more. And this is like a psychedelic experience. It's like what people access when they do, ayahuasca, or you can actually get there if you're willing to. And I have so many times, and you have too, Christina. So this is where can really open up our soul, and like our soul and spirit really is able to access much deeper layers, much deeper, higher realms and emotion, and like amazing, where we can actually realize that the reality that we've been living and so fixated on is not necessarily the truth. So we get away from what we think is the truth, and we can access just this way more and more expansive reality, I'd say.
I love that. I think when I experience breathwork journeys, I feel like I'm such a planner, a controller. And so when I enter these spaces, I feel like it's a space where I really am able to let go, and all the different voices, all the different parts of me, they all become one. And it's so peaceful and it's so quiet. And like you said, I love what you said, that you get to the real truth as well. You're letting go of, all these different things. And it feels like sometimes when you have a big challenge in your life, or you're making a big decision, these breathwork journeys, they bring you back to yourself, your true self. And sometimes in this world, there's so much noise. And so to have this space where the breathwork journey, where you take yourself actually, and that's what I think has been so amazing about breathwork journeys, is that it's actually just you taking yourself there to this space where you're able to have silence, and you're able to connect so deeply to yourself, and to find your way, to find the answers, to find whatever shows up, and sometimes it's so unexpected too, what shows up, and it's powerful, and it's changed my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that you're doing such incredible work, Christina, and like I'm so, so proud of you. I so love to watch you and your gifts come online, and it's really beautiful, because what I see, and what I was going to say is so beautiful about the breath work, is that we really accept ourselves so much when we enter that space. We like just start to feel this beautiful radical forgiveness for ourselves, and radical acceptance. And this is all the unconditional love, because we're opening up our heart chakra so much. We're, the way that we breathe, it allows us this beautiful like heart opening. And so we actually love ourselves in this experience more than we ever do in our real lives. And it's so interesting, because in our real lives, we're being told all these things like conditioning and these like mind, these stories that really inhibit us from loving ourselves and accepting ourselves and returning home to ourselves. the pure core essence of who we are. I spent the weekend with my little grandson, who's only 3.5 months old. And it was just so beautiful because it was like such a study of, we were really quiet together and so peaceful. And I was just realizing the essence of a baby. Like we're still that, like we that's what we came from, that seed of purity, of beauty, of like so perfectly pure. And then over the years, we've taken on all the stuff that has really, created all these barriers and like these masks and these roles. And then we blame ourselves, and we're never like giving ourselves that freedom to just be this little playful little baby that deserves that kind of love, and we've gotten away from realizing the miracles that we all are. We're all miracles,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why breathwork really allows us to escape the physical dimension and allows us to get past all of that and just to go back and return home to ourselves.
Yeah, and I have to say, the breathwork journeys that you lead are so loving and so nourishing, and I am just so grateful that I've been able to experience and be a part of your breathwork journey. So Joy holds the most beautiful space. She's like a goddess angel. It just feels like a cocoon of safety and love. So I'm just so grateful that I've been able to learn from you and your mentorship, and also just be held in your space.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. And it's truly an honor, really. And what you're really bringing to the world is so powerful. I was actually telling my friends about you after, and just the expansion that you're so devoted, and it comes from such altruistic like intention. And I know that. I feel it so much. And it just really gives me full body chills. So I'm just thinking, yeah, honestly, it means the world to me that the woman that I mentor, I hope men will come to learn the breath work, because men need it so much. No, it's true. It's like, and I feel so grateful because, we need to keep spreading this work. It's so powerful. It's so important. The world needs a lot of healing.
It is. Yeah.
Through a lot.
So true. So I want to talk about manifesting. What are some nuggets of wisdom for methodology in regards to manifesting?
Okay. So manifesting, could be another trending word, but it's really, it's about bringing whatever you wish from a soul desire, because, I say we can desire as long as it's from a soul purpose, right? As long as there is purpose behind it. Like if you're trying to manifest a red Ferrari or, like I'm just asking you without any judgment whatsoever, like what's the purpose in that you're trying, that desire, right? So it's what you desire from a soul purpose and bringing it into reality. So before manifesting anything, we want to just make sure that there's purpose behind it. That's the number one thing that I think is really, really important. And it's a correction that people need to start making. I would definitely, say I'm always like careful about reading the room when I'm leading a group. And so for the groups that I teach this to, or my clientele, I care about teaching manifestation with purpose. I'm not interested in, sharing anything else with with people that, are not realizing that they are my body, that we're actually spiritual beings living in a physical body. So that's just something that I had to like kind of clarify. with the type of manifestation that I teach or coach with. So there's that. And then it's really important that we are in alignment in order to manifest. So I always say, like, if you're wanting to manifest something and you don't have your house in order, you need to get your house in order first. Because whatever you are trying to put out to the universe is always, whatever you're putting out to the universe is an energetic match, right, of what you're going to attract back. So if your house is not in order, when I say your house is not in order, I mean that your life is not in order, that you need to clean up certain things in your life, because if you're not that energetic match, you're gonna attract back a messy home, or things that are not in order. If you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So those are two fundamentals that I think people misunderstand. When people come to me for manifestation, I always say, wait, hold on. Let's just see what's going on in your life. And when there are certain things that are just really broken, like your relationships with, certain people are not going well, if your health and you're just really constantly running into issues with your health, with your money, with certain things that you keep seeing these patterns, it's really important to first figure out, one second, what am I actually doing that is causing these repetitive patterns, and start to realize, like, what is it that is going on the inside within you that are causing those repetitive patterns. And so we might do a breath work to clear that first, and then get into the manifestation. So then after that, it's really important to get very clear about what you want to manifest, right? The universe does not like mixed messages. So if you're very wishy-washy when it comes to well, I want to live somewhere warm, right? So be careful. Be very careful about what you're putting out there, because, they say, be careful what you wish for. It's true. You need to be super clear about what you want and what you're trying to call in before anything. And then you get really clear about it. What I'd say is the first thing is to work on yourself first and foremost. If you want to have love in your life, you need to be the embodiment of love. You need to start loving. You need to start sharing love with other people. If it means calling a friend and just saying, I really appreciate you, watch how that becomes a ripple effect, and you start sharing more love in your life with other people. Even just, with a random stranger and smiling and saying, how was your day? That is an act of love. That's an act of kindness. And you start to embody these qualities, and you start to realize that you're becoming a magnet for all these beautiful things that you want to call in. So we're getting clear about what we want. We're also becoming the embodiment. We're changing our energy. We're cleaning up house, alignment, right? We're realizing that what we want should have purpose underneath it. And then we also do some subconscious reprogramming where we need to clear limiting beliefs. So when we do the visualizations, it's really important. That's another huge step of the manifestation, is really getting into the feeling and visualizing, right? So I'm taking my clients into theta, trying to get them into a meditation so they can start to visualize what they want to call in. Now I'll ask them the question, what's coming up for you? Is there any limiting belief that is coming through? And most times there is.
Yeah.
We want to clear those blocks. We want to clear the limiting beliefs. We do a little exercise to get rid of those beliefs, and we let go. We then focus on some gratitude, some neuroscience techniques. These are NLP techniques to actually lock in the manifestation, and then some calls to action. And it's really the practice. Honestly, the most powerful way to manifest is to, like I said, to constantly be the embodiment, to just notice your energy, have awareness, pay attention to your energy, and just shift. Because what we want to do is we want to do less in order to manifest and just be, so that we can start becoming the magnet of what we want to call in.
Focusing more on the feelings, the embodiment. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing these tools for manifesting. It's a lot more complicated, I think, than people think.
Oh,
Just
sure.
as you said, just the trending, typical how to manifest, just write down that this is what you want. It's going to happen. I think that's what a lot of people think manifesting is. It's not that simple.
Oh, no. It doesn't work that way. Yeah.
It's a little bit more complex to work with the universe, but I think it's definitely possible.
Oh, it definitely is. I can share some success stories, maybe in another interview, or I don't know, because
Yeah. So let's hear one.
Okay. I'd say right now, just being where I am right now, I'm in a temporary apartment that it happened literally in 36 hours that I manifested this space. I own an apartment uptown, but it's under construction right now and so on. And so I was staying somewhere that was really, really like just not the energy. I knew it. Like I could feel the energy was not at all a match for me. And the universe knows how much I love Central Park. It's my go-to. I run in the park. I've been running in the park for the past, I don't know, 20 something years, more every morning. It's my favorite place. And it's like my home, my safe place, my love, because it's all nature in the city. And so it was like a needle in the haystack, where there were no rented apartments. I'm sorry, there were no furnished apartments available, except there was this one, and it's a jewel, like right in the heart of the city. There's just so much energy here. I love horses, and there are the horse and buggies. They're right in front of my apartment. And I found it, and it was just like a very instant. I moved in 36 hours, and
oh wow,
yeah, and it's been ever since I moved here. Everything changed for me. It was just like constant, like synchronicities and just beautiful openings. And I'm staring at this beautiful view. You can see it right there. I don't know if you can see, but
oh wow,
the ceiling, yeah. And every day I wake up to that, and all the rooms have those views. So it's been really magical. That was one of my manifestations.
That's amazing. I love that. So happy for you. Congratulations. So happy that you're in flow. Yay.
Yeah, I'm in the flow because it feels so seamless. Like I get to run in the park again, like all the, just like it's right there. And that helps me to be in the flow because it's just right, it's like my energy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so many things that I love about it.
Thank you for sharing that success story, and thank you for sharing your story and your tools for manifesting and all about breath work. The last question that I always ask on the show is, have you had a spiritual awakening? I do feel like you kind of already shared an awakening, but have you had any other spiritual awakenings? I know we have many. Anything recently?
Yeah, I love that you asked that because I definitely did have a few on my journey. I'd say the second one was when I had this very, very strong, I was meditating with TM at the time, transcendental meditation. So they were like a longer meditations twice a day. And I had one of those awakenings that I woke up in the middle of the night, and at I think it was like 3:30, and I had a very strong message come to me, and it said, create an online do-it-yourself coaching platform. And that's how I created the Joyful Approach website, where I was like teaching, I was putting all of these like lessons on inner work and self-development and self-evolution, blog posts, interviews, things like that. But it was literally shown to me. It was so beautiful. I guess, I don't know, I guess my higher self and my guides, all came together. Then I went out to California and I started to train with the breathwork, and that's how that all happened. But I'd say that was such a pivotal time that I remember the entire week where I was getting like these crazy headaches, and my pineal gland really like open and was so weird. My body was like just starts sweating out of nowhere. I was seeing these visions and
Wow.
strong. Yeah, that time in my life was like huge. A huge awakening, I'd say.
Wow, so beautiful.
Yeah.
You have to listen. Open your ears, listen for the messages. They will come through.
I totally listened.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on the show and sharing your story and sharing all your tools with us today. Where can people find you, or if people connect with you, join your programs?
Thank you. Yeah, so I am Joy, the Joyful Approach on Instagram. My website is The Joyful Approach. You can find me there. There's only one account on Instagram, and it's The Joyful Approach. There is no other, because so many copycats or imposters trying to create these fake accounts. There's so many ways that you can work with me if you check out my offerings. And I'm just so grateful to be with you, Christina. It's so lovely.
It was such an amazing interview together. Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Have a beautiful day.